What if I told you that hidden within your mind right now lies a power so profound, so transformative, that it has the ability to completely rewire your brain and reshape your entire reality in just 21 days? But before we begin, please hit the like button and let me know where in the world you're watching from today. It's always fascinating seeing who's joining us from around the world. Every single day, millions of people wake up feeling trapped by their own thoughts, convinced that change is either impossible or requires some kind of superhuman willpower. Has this ever happened to you? You set a goal, you make a plan, you start with tremendous enthusiasm, only to find yourself back where you started within weeks, sometimes even days. The frustration builds, the self-doubt creeps in, and eventually, you begin to believe that transformation is reserved for other people, the lucky ones, the naturally gifted, the ones who seem to have it all figured out. But what you're about to discover might surprise you, because the truth is far more empowering than you could ever imagine. Throughout history, ancient wisdom traditions and modern neuroscience have pointed to the same remarkable reality. Every human being possesses an incredible capacity to shape their destiny from within. Think about it for a moment. Just like a musician learning to create beautiful melodies from a simple instrument, you have within you right now the ability to orchestrate a complete transformation of your mental landscape. This isn't about positive thinking or wishful fantasies. This is about understanding and harnessing the harmonious dialogue that exists between your conscious and unconscious minds. Stay with me until the end, because what I'm about to share with you has helped thousands of people break free from limiting patterns that have held them back for years, sometimes decades. Imagine, if you will, a small seed nestled in the fertile soil of your mind. This seed carries within it the potential for a towering tree of transformation, stronger confidence, unshakable resilience, crystal clear focus, and the kind of inner peace that radiates outward into every area of your life. But here's the thing that most people don't understand. This seed has been lying dormant, waiting for the right conditions to awaken and flourish. The ancient power I'm talking about doesn't require brute force, exhausting willpower, or dramatic life overhauls that leave you feeling overwhelmed and defeated. Instead, it operates through something far more elegant and sustainable: the gentle art of conscious self-suggestion. This is the practice that has been quietly transforming lives for centuries, yet remains largely unknown to most people struggling with personal change. Through cultivating positive self-suggestion, you begin to awaken this dormant seed within your mind. But unlike the harsh, demanding approaches you might have tried before, this method requires gentle, consistent nurturing rather than dramatic measures or great strain. It's like tending a garden. You don't force a plant to grow by pulling on its stems. Instead, you provide the right environment, the proper nourishment, and allow the natural process of growth to unfold. What makes this approach so powerful is that it works with your brain's natural plasticity rather than against it. Your neural pathways are constantly reshaping themselves based on your dominant thoughts and mental patterns. When you understand how to consciously direct this process through the harmony between your aware mind and the deeper, more intuitive aspects of your consciousness, you unlock a transformation mechanism that operates 24 hours a day, even while you sleep. The question isn't whether you have this power. You do. The question is whether you're ready to learn how to access it, nurture it, and watch as it begins to transform not just your thoughts, but your entire experience of being alive. Because what comes next reveals one of the most fascinating discoveries about how our minds actually work. You see, most people approach personal transformation like they're trying to force open a locked door with brute strength, when all they really need is the right key. That key lies in understanding something that neuroscientists have only recently begun to fully appreciate: the incredible power of daily evolution affirmations. When you begin to affirm daily with calm and assured repetition that each day you are evolving into a better version of yourself, something remarkable starts happening beneath the surface of your conscious awareness. You're not just reciting empty words. You're literally laying the foundation for transformation at the deepest level of your being. This practice creates lasting change through gentle persistence, rather than the exhausting cycle of forcing immediate results that leaves so many people burned out and defeated. Think about it this way. Your brain doesn't distinguish between what you repeatedly tell it and what you actually believe to be true. It simply responds to the dominant patterns you feed it, day after day, thought after thought. When you consistently affirm your evolution and growth, you're essentially reprogramming the very software that runs your daily decisions, reactions, and possibilities. Now, I want to go even deeper into this hidden truth that most people never discover: the art of conscious self-suggestion demonstrates one of the most powerful dialogues happening within you right now. The constant conversation between your mind and body. This isn't some mystical concept, it's hard science. Single thoughts can literally influence your emotions and physical sensations in ways that would astound you. Have you ever noticed how your heart rate changes when you think about something stressful, even when you're sitting perfectly still? Or how your posture shifts when you recall a moment of triumph? That's this mind-body connection at work, and it's operating 24 hours a day, whether you're consciously directing it or not. The question is, are you allowing random, chaotic thoughts to run this show, or are you taking conscious control of this incredible system? Understanding this interplay is where the real transformation begins, because it allows you to replace those automatic negative narratives, the ones that whisper about your limitations, your failures, your fears, with deliberate affirmations of strength, capability, and serenity. This isn't about denying reality or pretending problems don't exist. This is about recognizing that you have far more influence over your internal state, and therefore your external results, than you ever imagined possible. The revelations that emerge from this practice touch every aspect of your life. Your relationships begin to shift as you show up differently. Your work performance changes as your confidence grows. Even your physical health responds as stress patterns dissolve, and your body's natural healing mechanisms activate more effectively. Write in the comments, "I'm ready to rewire," if this resonates with you, because what I'm about to share next will show you exactly how to harness the most powerful force operating behind the scenes of your daily life: your unconscious mind. This is where the real magic happens, and it's been working tirelessly for you or against you every single moment, whether you realize it or not. Here's a hidden truth that changes everything once you understand it. Your unconscious mind is like a vigilant guardian that never sleeps, never takes a break, and never questions what you feed it. It vigilantly absorbs every whispered word of self-doubt or encouragement, every fleeting thought of limitation or possibility, and then works silently, relentlessly, to manifest these messages in your daily experiences. Think about that for a moment. Every internal conversation you have is being recorded, processed, and turned into your lived reality. Most people go through their entire lives completely unaware of this process. They wonder why they keep attracting the same types of relationships, why they hit the same income ceiling year after year, or why they feel stuck in patterns that seem impossible to break. The answer lies in the unconscious programming that's been running their lives from the background, like invisible software determining their choices, reactions, and opportunities. But here's where your journey toward transformation takes a decisive turn. By consciously directing this inner dialogue, you reclaim subtle yet immense power over your destiny. This isn't about controlling every thought. That's impossible and exhausting. This is about becoming the conscious architect of your dominant mental patterns, the ones that shape your unconscious programming, and ultimately your entire life experience. The beautiful thing about this process is that it doesn't require you to become a meditation master or spend hours in complex spiritual practices. The journey begins with practical exercises and reflective meditations designed to guide you into genuine self-mastery, requiring no elaborate rituals, but rather a sincere commitment to listen to your inner voice. This voice has been there all along, sometimes barely a whisper beneath the noise of daily stress and external demands, but it's been waiting patiently for you to tune in. Each step in this journey becomes a gentle nudge toward discovering that the transformation power has always resided within you. It was never outside, never dependent on perfect circumstances or other people's approval. or some magical moment when everything aligns. The sanctuary you're seeking, the peace you're craving, the confidence you're building, it's all accessible right now, right where you are, through the simple act of conscious dialogue with your own mind. This inner sanctuary isn't a place you visit. Occasionally, when life gets overwhelming, it becomes your foundation, your home base, the still center from which you navigate all of life's ups and downs. When you establish this connection with your inner wisdom, decisions become clearer, stress loses its grip, and you begin to move through the world with a quiet confidence that others notice but can't quite explain. Write in the comments, "Inner power activated," if you're beginning to see how this applies to your own life, because what happens when you truly embrace this practice is nothing short of remarkable. You begin to experience something that most people only glimpse in fleeting moments, a profound awakening of your inner dialogue that transforms not just how you think, but how you experience reality itself. Picture your mind as a tranquil lake at dawn, perfectly still on the surface, reflecting the sky with crystal clarity. Most people never look beyond that surface, never realizing that beneath lies a vast world of powerful currents waiting to be guided by conscious intention. These currents represent your deepest wisdom, your intuitive knowing, your capacity for insight that goes far beyond logical analysis. This awakening process isn't about adding something new to your life. It's about rediscovering what's always been there. The journey requires cultivating what I call serene receptivity. This means creating quiet space where your mind is free to listen to its own potential, unencumbered by the constant noise of external demands and internal criticism. It's like tuning into a radio station that's been broadcasting your entire life, but you've never known the frequency. Once you find it, everything changes. Setting aside moments each day to simply be present, not to accomplish anything, not to solve problems, not to check items off a list, allows you to observe your thoughts without the automatic judgment that usually accompanies them. Think of thoughts like clouds drifting across a clear sky. You do that? Don't fight the clouds. You don't try to change them. You simply observe them as they pass. In this stillness, something extraordinary begins to happen. You start to discover the gentle cadence of your inner dialogue, a rhythmic reminder that every single thought holds the promise of change. This isn't the harsh, critical voice that many people mistake for their inner wisdom. This is something far more subtle, far more trustworthy. The quiet knowing that emerges when you stop trying so hard and start simply listening. Behind the scenes of this process, your brain is literally rewiring itself. Neuroscientists call this neuroplasticity. Your brain's remarkable ability to form new neural pathways and reshape existing ones based on repeated experiences and focused attention. When you consistently practice this kind of mindful awareness, you're not just having a pleasant meditation experience, you're physically changing the structure of your brain in ways that support clarity, emotional balance, and decision-making capacity. The impact of this practice ripples out into every area of your life in ways that might surprise you. Relationships become easier because you're no longer reacting from old emotional patterns. Work becomes more fulfilling because you're operating from a place of inner clarity rather than external pressure. Even your physical health improves as stress patterns dissolve, and your nervous system learns to operate from a state of calm alertness rather than chronic tension. Write in the comments, "Lake of Calm," if you can feel this shift beginning to happen in your own awareness, because the revelations that come from this level of inner connection are absolutely transformative, and they begin with understanding how conscious affirmations work, like seeds planted in the most fertile mental ground you could imagine. This isn't about repeating meaningless phrases or trying to convince yourself of something that feels untrue. This is about recognizing that every word you speak to yourself, every internal message you repeat, is literally taking root in your subconscious mind and beginning to germinate with each repetition. The beauty of this process lies in its gentle persistence rather than forceful will. Think about how a seed grows. It doesn't strain or struggle or try to force its way through the soil. It simply responds to the right conditions: moisture, warmth, and time. Your mind works in exactly the same way. When you provide the right mental conditions through conscious affirmation, transformation happens naturally, almost effortlessly. This subtle art of suggestion provides gentle yet persistent reminders of your capacity to evolve and transform. Behind the scenes, something remarkable begins to happen in your neural pathways. Each time you consciously choose an empowering thought over a limiting one, you're strengthening the mental infrastructure that supports growth, confidence, and possibility. It's like creating well-worn paths in your mind that naturally lead toward your highest potential. Now, I want to go even deeper into this hidden truth about how your internal landscape actually changes. Through consistent practice, your inner dialogue undergoes a profound shift from resistance to encouragement. This isn't a superficial change. This is a fundamental rewiring of how you relate to yourself and your capabilities. Where previously discouraging doubts dominated your mental space, you begin to notice growing voices of possibility emerging from within. This transformation reveals something extraordinary, hidden channels through which your imagination flows, converting what used to be negative notions into actual stepping stones toward progress. Your mind becomes less like a battlefield where different thoughts compete for dominance, and more like a garden where positive insights naturally flourish and take root. The impact of this shift touches every decision you make, every relationship you enter, every challenge you face. Instead of your default response being doubt or hesitation, you begin to approach life from a foundation of curiosity and possibility. Your mindset becomes your greatest asset, rather than your biggest obstacle. The internal resistance that used to exhaust you transforms into internal support that energizes and motivates you. What's fascinating is that this process creates its own momentum. The more you practice conscious dialogue with yourself, the more natural it becomes. The more natural it becomes, the more profound the results. You begin to trust your own inner guidance in ways that might have seemed impossible before. Write in the comments, "Seeds planted," if you're ready to start this transformation journey, because what happens once this foundation is established will completely change how you experience the very act of breathing itself. This might sound unusual, but bear with me, because this revelation transforms something you do over 20,000 times a day into a powerful tool for rewiring your brain. Each inhale becomes a quiet affirmation of life, a gentle reminder that every single breath draws in not just oxygen, but the energy needed to forge new neural pathways and create fresh possibilities. Think about it. Breathing is the one bodily function that operates both automatically and consciously. You can let it happen naturally, or you can take conscious control. This dual nature makes it the perfect bridge between your conscious intentions and your unconscious programming. When you begin aligning your thoughts with your natural breathing rhythm, something extraordinary happens behind the scenes. The internal barriers that have long held you back, those automatic responses of doubt, fear, or limitation, start to dismantle themselves. It's as if each conscious breath creates a small opening in the wall of old conditioning, and over time, these openings expand until entirely new possibilities can flow through. The hidden truth about transformation is that it doesn't require the dramatic overhauls that most people attempt. True transformation lies not in grand gestures or the pressure for immediate results, but in the gentle accumulation of small, deliberate shifts in thought. This understanding completely changes the game because it removes the overwhelming pressure that causes so many people to give up before they even begin. This gradual process works like water slowly wearing away stone. Each small shift might seem insignificant in the moment, but collectively, they dissolve old unproductive narratives and replace them with confident, self-affirming discourse. Your internal voice begins to change its tone, its message, its entire orientation. Instead of pointing out what's wrong or what might go wrong, it starts highlighting what's possible and what's already improving. The beauty of this approach is that it works with your brain's natural learning patterns rather than against them. Your nervous system responds much better to consistent, gentle input than to sporadic bursts of intense effort, followed by periods of neglect. When you make small adjustments daily, your mind begins to trust the process and stops resisting the changes you're implementing. This methodology creates sustainable transformation because it doesn't trigger the internal alarm systems that cause people to sabotage their own progress. Your unconscious mind actually begins to cooperate rather than resist, because the changes feel natural and non-threatening. The journey becomes enjoyable rather than exhausting, sustainable rather than overwhelming. Write in the comments, "breathing transformation," if you can feel how this gentle approach might work better than the intense methods you've tried before. Because once you understand this principle, the way you approach every area of personal growth fundamentally shifts, and you begin to see your mind for what it truly is: a vast, fertile field, waiting for positive influence seeds to take root and flourish beyond your wildest imagination. This revelation changes everything about how you think about change itself. Your mind isn't a rigid structure that needs to be overhauled or fixed. It's a living, breathing ecosystem where suggestion becomes the gentle lever capable of shifting deep-rooted habits, healing old emotional wounds, and unlocking dormant potential that's been waiting years, sometimes decades, to emerge. Every single thought you think, every whispered affirmation you speak to yourself, holds the genuine capacity to alter the very fabric of your reality when applied with clear intention and patient consistency. The hidden truth behind this process is that suggestion operates silently, working behind the scenes of your conscious awareness to guide the powerful currents of your unconscious mind. This isn't about forcing new thoughts or trying to suppress unwanted ones through sheer willpower. This is about understanding how to create the optimal conditions for transformation through deliberate practice in quiet, distraction-free spaces, where your mind can actually absorb and integrate new programming. When you begin gently introducing positive suggestions and allowing them to resonate with your natural breathing rhythms, something remarkable happens at the cellular level of your brain. You're literally planting seeds that will grow into vibrant aspects of your character, new ways of thinking and responding, that feel completely natural because they've been nurtured from within rather than imposed from without. The beauty of this approach lies in its subtlety. Most people try to change by declaring war on their old patterns, creating internal conflict that exhausts them and ultimately leads to failure. But when you work with your mind's natural receptivity, when you honor its need for gentle guidance rather than harsh commands, transformation becomes as natural as a flower blooming in spring. This mental environment you create becomes your secret weapon against the chaos of daily life. In a world that constantly bombards you with negative messages, stress-inducing demands, and pressure to conform, you develop an inner sanctuary where positive growth can occur undisturbed. This isn't escapism. This is strategic mental health that gives you the strength and clarity to navigate external challenges with grace and wisdom. The impact of this practice extends far beyond personal development. Your decisions become clearer because they're arising from a centered, peaceful place rather than from reactive emotions. Your relationships improve because you're operating from inner confidence rather than insecurity or neediness. Write in the comments, "mental garden," if you're beginning to see how your mind could become this fertile ground for positive change. Because when you truly master this environment, you discover something that completely transforms how change happens in your life. The process becomes as natural and nourishing as soft rain falling on a parched garden, where suggestions seep in effortlessly without overwhelming your consciousness with abrupt commands or forceful demands. This tender dialogue approach represents a complete paradigm shift from the harsh self-criticism and demanding internal pressure that most people use to try to motivate themselves. Instead of dictating change through willpower and force, you learn to invite transformation through gentle, consistent nurturing. This creates a profound sense of inner peace while enabling your unconscious mind to absorb positive messages without resistance or rebellion. The hidden truth behind this gentle approach lies in how your brain actually learns and adapts. Your nervous system is designed to respond to kind, patient guidance rather than aggressive demands. When you speak to yourself with the same gentle encouragement you might offer a dear friend, your mind opens up in ways that forced motivation simply cannot achieve. Now, I want to go even deeper into the neurological mechanics of this transformation, because understanding what's happening behind the scenes makes the entire process feel less mysterious and more empowering. Consistent affirmation repetition works exactly like encouraging a child who's learning to walk. Think about that process for a moment. No parent stands over a toddler demanding immediate perfection or criticizing every stumble. Instead, there's gentle reassurance, patient support, and celebration of each small step forward. This is precisely how your brain rewires itself. Each repetition of a positive affirmation reinforces specific neural pathways that support newfound confidence and self-belief. These pathways become stronger and more automatic with each gentle reinforcement, gradually transforming hesitant mental steps into confident strides through life's challenges. The beauty of this neurological process is that it doesn't require you to believe the affirmations completely at first. Your brain begins creating the neural infrastructure for confidence and positivity simply through repetition, even before your conscious mind fully accepts the new programming. It's like building a bridge. You don't need to cross it immediately, but having it there changes everything about your landscape of possibilities. This understanding removes the pressure and self-judgment that sabotage so many transformation efforts. You don't need to feel different immediately. You don't need to overcome decades of conditioning overnight. You simply need to show up consistently with patience and self-compassion, allowing your brain's natural plasticity to work its quiet magic. Write in the comments, gentle rewiring, if this approach feels like the missing piece you've been searching for, because once these neural pathways begin to strengthen, you discover something truly extraordinary that most people never realize is possible. The power of suggestion extends far beyond personal growth and confidence building. It reaches directly into your physical well-being and the quality of every relationship in your life. When you consistently engage in positive self-talk and gentle affirmations, you're literally setting the stage for healing at the cellular level. Your mind and body aren't separate entities operating independently. They're intimately connected through a complex network of chemical messengers, electrical impulses, and energetic patterns that respond immediately to your dominant thoughts and emotional states. This responsive mind of yours actively directs your body's natural processes toward balance and restoration. When you speak to yourself with kindness and affirm your strength and health, your nervous system shifts from chronic stress patterns into healing mode. Pain begins to ease, tension dissolves, inflammation reduces, and a profound sense of general well-being emerges from within. This isn't wishful thinking. This is documented science showing how your thoughts directly influence everything from immune function to cardiovascular health. The revelations don't stop there. Your relationships transform because you're no longer projecting insecurity, neediness, or unconscious patterns onto others. Instead, you begin relating from a place of inner fullness and authentic confidence that naturally attracts healthier connections and deeper intimacy. Now, I want to go even deeper into perhaps the most empowering aspect of this entire journey. Embracing the art of suggestion means acknowledging your role as the true architect of your destiny through deliberate choice rather than leaving your life to chance or circumstance. This represents a fundamental shift in how you see yourself and your relationship to the world around you. Each gentle repetition of positive affirmations literally rewrites your life's script, replacing limiting beliefs that have been running your show with empowering new programs that support your highest potential. Through conscious nurturing of these inner potential seeds, you become the active author of your story rather than a passive character reacting to whatever happens to you. This architectural approach to destiny means you're no longer at the mercy of your past conditioning, other people's opinions, or external circumstances. You develop the ability to create your reality from the inside out, making decisions from a centered place of inner knowing rather than from fear, pressure, or unconscious programming. The impact of this mindset shift touches every area of your existence. Your career begins reflecting your authentic values and talents. Your finances improve because you're making decisions from abundance consciousness rather than scarcity thinking. Write in the comments, "I'm the architect," if you're ready to step into this level of conscious creation, because when you truly embrace this responsibility, you discover one of the most profound secrets about human psychology that changes everything about how transformation actually works. True transformation doesn't emerge from willpower alone, nor does it come from imagination without direction. Instead, it emerges when your conscious intention harmonizes perfectly with the subtle undercurrents of your inner world. This creates a dynamic partnership between your logical, planning mind and your intuitive, creative consciousness that's capable of overcoming even the most daunting challenges. Most people struggle with change because they're trying to force transformation through willpower alone, or they're lost in wishful thinking without taking concrete action. But when you understand that imagination complements rather than opposes willpower, everything shifts. Think about the most successful moments in your life. I guarantee they weren't achieved through grinding effort alone, nor through passive dreaming. They happened when your clear intention aligned perfectly with your ability to envision and feel the outcome you desired. This harmony creates an almost effortless momentum that carries you forward through obstacles that would normally stop you in your tracks. The hidden truth is that your imagination is actually the fuel that powers sustained willpower. Without the ability to clearly envision and emotionally connect with your desired outcomes, willpower becomes a finite resource that inevitably depletes. But when imagination and will work together, they create renewable energy that actually grows stronger with use. Daily routine reflection reveals exactly why so many well-intentioned plans fall apart. You wake up with clear decisions about how you want to spend your day, what goals you want to pursue, what changes you want to implement. But then, seemingly out of nowhere, sudden waves of self-doubt or hesitation thwart your planned decisive actions. Sound familiar? This is where conscious autosuggestion plays perhaps its most vital role. It serves as the bridge between your conscious intentions and your unconscious programming, replacing those automatic negative narratives with positive, affirming thoughts that actually recalibrate the relationship between your will and imagination. Instead of your subconscious mind sabotaging your conscious goals, it begins supporting them. Instead of internal conflict between what you want to do and what you feel capable of doing, you develop internal alignment that makes progress feel natural and sustainable. The journey toward this harmony isn't about perfection or never experiencing doubt again. It's about developing the skill to recognize when old patterns are trying to reassert themselves and having the tools to gently redirect your internal dialogue toward support rather than sabotage. Write in the comments, will meets imagination, if you're beginning to see how these two forces can work together instead of against each other, because once you master this integration, you unlock a practice that becomes the cornerstone of lasting transformation. Taking daily moments for mindful reflection in quiet spaces becomes more than just a relaxation technique. It becomes your laboratory for rewiring reality itself. When you allow your mind to drift into serene openness during these precious moments, something remarkable happens behind the scenes. You develop the ability to acknowledge resistant thoughts without being controlled by them, while simultaneously introducing powerful images of success embodiment that your unconscious mind begins to accept as possible futures rather than impossible dreams. This invitation process creates entirely new mental environments where obstacles naturally shrink and possibilities spontaneously expand. It's like having a private workshop where you can experiment with different versions of yourself, different responses to challenges, different ways of moving through the world. In this space, you're not fighting against your limitations. You're simply exploring what becomes available when those limitations dissolve. The hidden truth about this practice is that it's not passive meditation or wishful thinking. It's active mental conditioning that prepares your entire nervous system for success before you even encounter the situations that used to trigger doubt or hesitation. You're literally rehearsing confidence, practicing resilience, and embodying the energy of someone who naturally achieves their goals. Now, I want to go even deeper into what happens when this practice becomes consistent and authentic. Persistent practice dissolves the artificial barriers between intention and action that have kept so many people stuck in cycles of planning, without implementing, dreaming, without achieving. Those separate forces of will and imagination begin to merge into single, coherent drives that feel completely natural and sustainable. This harmonious current flows effortlessly through your daily endeavors, transforming routine tasks and unexpected challenges into manageable growth opportunities. Instead of feeling like you're pushing against resistance all the time, you begin to feel like you're being carried forward by an internal momentum that aligns with your deepest values and aspirations. The impact of this shift is profound because it touches every decision, every interaction, every moment of uncertainty. When intention and action are no longer separate processes requiring constant effort to coordinate, your life begins to feel like a natural expression of your authentic self, rather than a series of battles you need to win. Your mindset becomes less about forcing outcomes and more about flowing with opportunities. Your decisions become clearer because they're arising from integrated wisdom rather than internal conflict. Write in the comments, "flowing forward," if you can sense how this integration might transform your own relationship with action and achievement. Because when this harmony becomes your natural state, you develop something that most people spend their entire lives searching for: a truly resilient mindset that transforms your relationship with every challenge life presents. This isn't about becoming someone who never faces difficulties or pretending that setbacks don't hurt. This is about building an internal foundation so solid that you begin seeing challenges as stepping stones rather than insurmountable barriers. The hidden truth about resilience is that it's not about being tough or forcing yourself to endure hardship without feeling anything. True resilience operates more like those sturdy oaks you see standing tall after decades of storms. They survive not because they're rigid, but because they've learned to bend gracefully with whatever winds come their way, rather than resisting them. This flexibility comes from using thoughtful self-suggestion to enhance your natural capacity for overcoming obstacles. When you consistently practice speaking to yourself with the same patience and encouragement you'd offer a dear friend facing similar challenges, you literally rewire your brain's response patterns to adversity. Instead of your default reaction being panic, overwhelm, or defeat, your mind begins automatically accessing creativity, resourcefulness, and calm determination. The transformation happens through a process that begins with conscious decisions to redefine adversity itself. Instead of viewing setbacks as evidence of your inadequacy or proof that your goals are impossible, you start seeing them as information, as course corrections, as opportunities to develop skills you didn't know you possessed. This redefinition process requires pausing during those inevitable moments of disappointment, and they will come, because they're part of being human, to consciously replace those automatic defeat narratives with gentle resilience affirmations. It sounds simple, but this practice represents one of the most profound self-suggestion acts you can perform. You're literally interrupting decades of conditioning that taught you to see obstacles as threats rather than growth opportunities. Each time you make this conscious choice, you gradually fortify the mental fabric that underlies all of your everyday experiences. Behind the scenes, your brain is building new neural networks that support confidence, adaptability, and creative problem solving. These networks become stronger each time you choose the resilient response over the defeated one. The impact ripples through every area of your life, because resilience isn't just about handling major crises. It's about how you navigate daily frustrations, unexpected changes, relationship conflicts, and the thousand small challenges that used to derail your peace of mind. Write in the comments, "bending, not breaking," if you're ready to develop this kind of flexible strength, because once this resilient foundation is established, you discover that true resilience isn't just a mental game. It's a holistic approach that recognizes the profound connection between your psychological state and your physical well-being. This revelation changes everything about how you build lasting strength and stability in your life. Cultivating genuine resilience requires nurturing your mental states alongside your physical health through balanced nutrition, regular movement, and adequate rest. This isn't about following the latest fitness trend or strict dietary rules. This is about understanding that your body and mind are intimate partners in your transformation journey, each one supporting and strengthening the other in ways that create exponential, rather than linear growth. Think about it like trees drawing strength from soil nutrients. When the soil is rich and well-nourished, the tree naturally develops the robust root system it needs to weather any storm. Your body works the same way for your mind. When you treat your physical self as a cherished ally in your self-mastery pursuit, rather than an inconvenience to manage, your mental resilience multiplies dramatically. The hidden truth behind this integration is that stress, anxiety, and emotional overwhelm often have physical components that no amount of positive thinking alone can address. When you're sleep-deprived, nutritionally depleted, or living in a sedentary state, your brain literally lacks the biochemical resources it needs to maintain optimism and creative problem-solving under pressure. Now, I want to go even deeper into one of the most powerful tools for building unshakable confidence that most people completely overlook. Reflecting on your personal growth history, specifically those experiences where initial failures eventually led to eventual triumphs, builds massive confidence reservoirs that reinforce your belief in your ability to navigate future difficulties successfully. These memories aren't just pleasant reminiscences, they're actual evidence of your resilience capacity that your brain can access during challenging moments. When you consciously collect and review these experiences, they serve as hope beacons that illuminate possible paths forward even during your darkest moments of uncertainty or setback. Most people focus so intensely on their current challenges that they forget they've already overcome obstacles that once seemed impossible. They've already demonstrated creativity, persistence, and adaptability in countless situations, but this valuable data gets buried under immediate stress and worry. When you deliberately recall and emotionally reconnect with these triumph stories, you're not just feeling good about the past, you're actually reconditioning your nervous system to expect positive outcomes rather than anticipating failure. Write in the comments evidence of strength if you're beginning to recognize your own history of overcoming challenges, because when you truly understand this pattern of your own resilience, you're ready to open what I call the transformation portal, a gateway that exists within your consciousness right now, waiting for the right key to unlock the latent potential that's been dormant inside you for far too long. Opening these transformation portals requires mindful autosuggestion as the master key, but not in the way most people imagine. This isn't about forcing change through repetitive mantras or trying to convince yourself of something that feels untrue. This is about nurturing patience and gentle resolve that allows creative abundance to unfold naturally, like seasons changing or flowers blooming in their perfect timing. Think of yourself as a careful gardener, tending precious land with steady, loving hands. Each conscious affirmation you speak to yourself plants hope seeds in the fertile mental garden of your subconscious mind. These seeds don't sprout overnight, but with consistent care and attention, they develop into robust beliefs and capabilities that surprise even you with their strength and beauty. The hidden truth about transformation is that it often begins in the smallest, quietest moments. A single deliberate thought during your morning routine, a moment of gentle self-encouragement during an afternoon reflection, or a whispered affirmation before sleep can initiate profound metamorphosis. These aren't dramatic moments that announce themselves with fanfare. They're subtle shifts that allow your inner voice to guide you toward your highest aspirations. When you begin speaking simple words to yourself with calm conviction, something remarkable happens behind the scenes of your consciousness. These words work like gentle streams that slowly but persistently erode the hard barriers of limiting beliefs that have been damming up your potential for years, sometimes decades. The beauty of this process lies in its gentleness. You're not attacking your old patterns or trying to demolish them through force. Instead, you're offering them a better alternative, a more loving way of thinking about yourself and your possibilities. Like water finding its way around obstacles, your positive self-suggestion naturally flows into the spaces where doubt and fear once dominated. This metamorphosis through affirmation creates lasting change because it honors your mind's natural resistance to sudden, dramatic shifts while still facilitating genuine transformation. Your unconscious mind begins to trust this gentle approach, gradually releasing its protective grip on familiar limitations and opening to new possibilities. The journey requires patience, because real transformation happens in layers, revealing itself gradually as you consistently show up for yourself with kindness and encouragement. Write in the comments, "Portal opening," if you can feel this gentle approach resonating with your deepest desire for authentic change, because once this process gains momentum, you begin to understand one of the most liberating truths about personal transformation. It's not about dramatic revolutions or overnight personality overhauls that leave you feeling like a stranger to yourself. Understanding transformation as a gradual process, rather than an instant revolution, completely changes how you approach the inevitable moments when old habits resurface. Instead of seeing these moments as failures or evidence that you're not changing fast enough, you learn to approach them with kindness and renewed commitment to growth. This shift in perspective is profound because it removes the self-judgment and frustration that cause so many people to abandon their transformation journey just when they're making real progress. Each gentle replacement of a negative thought with a positive one reinforces new neural patterns, while allowing old limiting beliefs to fade naturally, like receding tides that gradually reveal beautiful shorelines that were always there beneath the surface. This organic approach honors your mind's need for consistency and safety while still facilitating genuine change. The hidden truth about sustainable transformation is that it works with your psychology rather than against it. When you stop fighting your humanness and start working with your natural rhythms of growth, everything becomes easier and more enjoyable. Now, I want to go even deeper into how this understanding changes your relationship with change itself. Embracing change flow involves seeing life as one of those gently winding rivers that carve new paths over time, always adapting and molding around obstacles while maintaining forward momentum. Rivers don't force their way through mountains. They find creative ways around, under, or through, always reaching their destination, but rarely in a straight line. When you begin welcoming changes with curiosity rather than resistance, you activate the true power of autosuggestion for creating alignment between your inner world and outer circumstances. Instead of life happening to you, you become an active participant in shaping your reality through conscious response rather than unconscious reaction. This flow state creates a feedback loop, where positive changes in your thinking attract positive changes in your circumstances, which reinforce positive changes in your thinking, and so on. It's like stepping into a river current that carries you toward your goals rather than swimming against the tide. The impact of this mindset extends beyond personal development into every decision you make, every relationship you enter, every challenge you encounter. Life becomes an adventure of conscious creation rather than a series of problems to solve or obstacles to overcome. Write in the comments, "Flowing with change," if you're ready to stop fighting against life's natural rhythms and start dancing with them. Because when you truly master this flow, you encounter something that stops most people in their tracks, that persistent inner voice of doubt that seems to know exactly when to whisper its discouraging messages. But here's where your understanding of gentle transformation becomes your greatest asset. Confronting inner doubt doesn't mean waging war against those whispered questions and undermining voices that arise in moments of uncertainty. Instead, it involves recognizing these voices as misguided guardians rather than enemies that need to be vanquished. Think about it, that doubtful voice developed over years of trying to protect you from disappointment, rejection, or failure. It's not malicious, it's just outdated and overly cautious. Through gentle conscious thought dissolution, those persistent doubting patterns begin to weaken naturally and become replaced by confident affirmation patterns. This isn't about suppressing doubt or pretending it doesn't exist. It's about thanking that protective voice for its concern while consciously choosing thoughts that serve your growth rather than limit it. The beauty of this approach is that it removes the internal struggle that exhausts so many people. Instead of fighting against doubt, you're simply offering it a better alternative, a more loving, supportive way of looking out for your well-being. Now, I want to go even deeper into how this gentle approach unlocks one of the most powerful transformation tools available to you. Every single habit in your life began as single thoughts that solidified into behavior through repetition, forming silent life scripts that run automatically in the background of your daily experience. These scripts can be gently revised through conscious autosuggestion, but the key lies in how you approach them. When you begin observing your habits with gentle curiosity rather than harsh judgment, you create doorways into inner worlds that are absolutely ripe for positive transformation. Most people try to change habits through force, cutting out behaviors cold turkey or implementing dramatic lifestyle overhauls that their nervous systems rebel against. But when you approach habit change with the same gentle persistence you've been learning throughout this journey, transformation becomes sustainable and enjoyable. The hidden truth is that your habits are simply neural pathways that have become well-worn through repetition. By consciously choosing new thoughts and responses, you're literally carving new pathways that eventually become just as automatic as the old ones, but infinitely more supportive of the life you actually want to create. This process of script rewriting affects everything from your morning routine to how you handle stress, from your relationship patterns to your professional decisions. Write in the comments, "Rewriting my script," if you're ready to approach your habits with this kind of gentle curiosity. Because when you master this gentle rewriting process, you unlock access to something truly extraordinary that most people never even know exists within them. A vast reservoir of untapped creative energy that lies waiting in the quiet corridors of your mind, ready to transform every aspect of your life when gently awakened through conscious autosuggestion practice. This isn't about becoming an artist or pursuing traditionally creative endeavors, though those might emerge naturally. This is about awakening the creative force that generates innovative solutions to everyday problems, fresh perspectives on old challenges, and the ability to see possibilities where others see only limitations. Like vast moonlit expanses where every thought becomes a waiting star, your creativity requires gentle invitation, rather than force, to manifest its full potential. Most people try to force creativity through pressure, deadlines, or demanding that inspiration strike on command. But creativity, like all the other aspects of transformation we've been exploring, responds best to patient nurturing and gentle encouragement. When you create the right internal conditions through conscious autosuggestion, creative insights begin flowing naturally into your awareness. The hidden truth about creativity is that it's not a talent reserved for a special few. It's a natural function of consciousness that becomes available when your mind is free from the constant chatter of worry, self-doubt, and rigid thinking patterns. As you've been practicing the gentle approaches we've discussed, you've actually been clearing the mental space necessary for creative breakthrough. Now, I want to go even deeper into what might be the most profound aspect of this entire journey. The final frontier involves uniting your inner thought-feeling realms with your external action-circumstance worlds through harmonious integration that allows your conscious affirmations to resonate powerfully throughout your daily life. This bridge-building process transforms ordinary moments into growth and healing opportunities. Instead of meditation and affirmation being something you do for a few minutes each day before returning to real life, they become the foundation from which you engage with everything: your work, your relationships, your challenges, your celebrations. When this unity develops, there's no longer a separation between your spiritual practice and your practical life, between who you are in quiet moments and who you are in the world. Your internal dialogue of encouragement and possibility begins, informing every decision, every interaction, every response to unexpected situations. The impact of this integration is profound because it means you're no longer compartmentalizing your growth. Every moment becomes an opportunity to practice conscious response rather than unconscious reaction, to choose empowering thoughts rather than limiting ones. Write in the comments, "Unity unfolding," if you can sense how this integration might transform your entire experience of being alive. Because when this bridge between inner and outer worlds becomes solid, you discover something that changes everything about how you show up in life: the ability to awaken what I call your inner confidence flame. This isn't the brittle, forced confidence that comes from trying to convince yourself you're better than you feel. This is something far more profound and sustainable, Awakening this inner confidence flame requires nurturing the self-assurance seeds that have been lying dormant within you, perhaps for years, waiting for the right conditions to sprout. Through deliberate autosuggestion, you learn to kindle those hidden embers into blazing fires of personal power that illuminate every area of your existence. Like tranquil sanctuaries where possibility seeds are carefully sown and tended, your mind can overcome even the deepest patterns of doubt through focused, loving thought. The key is understanding that real confidence isn't something you acquire from external achievements or other people's approval. It's something you uncover within yourself through patient, consistent inner work. The hidden truth about confidence is that it grows naturally when you stop trying so hard to force it. Most people exhaust themselves trying to feel confident before they take action. But genuine confidence develops through taking aligned action despite temporary uncertainty, then acknowledging and celebrating each small step forward. Now, I want to go even deeper into perhaps the most elegant aspect of this entire transformation journey. Achieving true self-mastery requires balancing determination with natural life flow wisdom, creating what can only be described as graceful progress dances, where profound achievements arise from quiet, assured confidence rather than desperate striving. Think about watching exceptional dancers move with their music's natural rhythm. There's effort involved, certainly, but it's effort that flows in harmony with something larger than force alone. Their movements seem effortless because they're working with the music rather than against it. True accomplishments emerge from this same kind of mind-body unity rather than from strained, exhausting effort that burns you out before you reach your goals. This balance transforms your entire approach to achievement. Instead of pushing against resistance until you're depleted, you learn to recognize when to apply focused energy and when to allow natural momentum to carry you forward. Decisions become clearer because they're arising from inner alignment rather than external pressure. The impact of this shift touches every aspect of your journey. Your relationships improve because you're no longer operating from neediness or the compulsion to prove yourself. Your work becomes more fulfilling because it flows from authentic purpose rather than fear-based motivation. Write in the comments, graceful progress, if you're ready to discover how achievement can feel this natural and sustainable, because when you truly embody this balance, something extraordinary happens within your evolving inner landscape. You discover a vital truth that most people never realize. Your belief power isn't fixed or determined by past experiences. It can be renewed and strengthened through each deliberate thought, inviting refreshed convictions about your potential and worth that seemed impossible just months before. Like vibrant flames that have flickered dangerously in the winds of doubt and disappointment, your inner fire can be completely rekindled through conscious narrative renewal. This isn't about pretending past struggles didn't happen, or forcing yourself to believe something that feels untrue. This is about recognizing that every moment offers you the opportunity to choose which story you tell yourself about who you are and what you're capable of achieving. The hidden truth about belief is that it's not a static thing you either have or don't have. It's a living, breathing energy that responds to how you treat it. When you consistently feed your mind with thoughts of possibility, capability, and growth, your belief naturally strengthens. When you starve it with criticism, doubt, and limitation, it naturally weakens. But here's the beautiful part. It's never too late to start feeding it properly. This renewal process reveals another crucial element that separates those who achieve lasting transformation from those who give up when results don't come quickly. Enough. Persistence emerges as the steady flame that fuels all meaningful transformation through quiet, enduring commitment and steadfast belief in progress, regardless of how slow that progress might sometimes seem. Now, I want to go even deeper into how this persistence actually works in practice. Like those long, meandering paths that wind through varied landscapes, sometimes ascending steep hills, sometimes crossing peaceful valleys, sometimes navigating dense forests where the destination seems temporarily hidden. Profound personal growth requires gentle daily intention, reaffirmation rather than the forceful exertion that exhausts most people before they reach their goals. This kind of persistence isn't about gritting your teeth and pushing through resistance. It's about developing an unshakable trust in the process, even when external evidence hasn't caught up with your internal transformation yet. It's about showing up consistently with kindness toward yourself, especially on days when motivation feels absent. The journey of rewiring your brain in 21 days isn't about perfection or never having difficult moments. It's about building the steady flame of commitment that burns consistently regardless of temporary weather conditions. Write in the comments, "steady flame burning," if you can feel this quiet persistence developing within you. Because when this flame becomes unshakable, you step into what can only be described as the cultivation of your own self-realization garden. Within the vast expanses of your inner world exist sacred spaces where the seeds of your truest potential have been waiting to be sown, nurtured, and eventually allowed to blossom into the full expression of who you're meant to become. Like those quiet, secluded gardens where each thought becomes a waiting seed full of promise, your mind possesses the remarkable ability to transform what might have been barren soil into vibrant fields of growth and possibility. This isn't metaphorical wishful thinking. This is the actual process of conscious evolution that happens when you consistently tend to your inner landscape with the same care a master gardener brings to their most precious plants. The hidden truth about self-realization is that it's not a destination you arrive at after years of struggle or enlightenment you achieve through complex spiritual practices. It's a natural unfolding that happens when you create the right conditions through patient, loving attention to your inner dialogue and daily choices. Every moment of conscious autosuggestion you've been practicing becomes a seed planted in this sacred garden. Every time you choose an empowering thought over a limiting one, every instance of gentle self-encouragement rather than harsh self-criticism, you're literally cultivating the soil from which your highest potential emerges. Now, I want to go even deeper into where this entire journey leads when you fully embrace it. The final unfolding arrives at what I call the art of harmonious living, where conscious autosuggestion seamlessly weaves itself into the very fabric of your daily existence, creating a life that resonates with the gentle cadence of inner balance. This isn't about achieving some perfect state where challenges never arise or difficulties disappear. This is about reaching a place where you're no longer separated by the artificial boundaries of past doubt or future anxiety. Instead, your life becomes a living testimony to the transformation power of a peaceful, well-tended mind. In this state of harmonious living, there's no distinction between your spiritual practice and your practical life, between who you are in meditation and who you are in action. The consciousness you've cultivated through gentle autosuggestion becomes the lens through which you experience everything: work, relationships, challenges, celebrations, ordinary moments, and extraordinary ones alike. The impact of this integration creates a feedback loop where inner peace generates outer harmony, which reinforces inner peace, creating an upward spiral that touches every person and situation you encounter. Write in the comments, "Garden in full bloom," if you can envision this harmonious integration becoming your lived reality, because when you truly understand how accessible this transformation is, you realize that everything we've explored together isn't just theory or inspiration. It's a practical roadmap that you can begin implementing immediately, starting with your very next thought, your very next breath, your very next moment of conscious choice. If you've stayed with me through this entire journey, it means something inside you recognizes the truth of what we've been discussing. That recognition itself is the first sign that your brain is already beginning to rewire, that the seeds of transformation are already taking root in the fertile soil of your consciousness. The fact that you're here, right now, having absorbed these insights about gentle persistence, harmonious living, and the power of conscious autosuggestion, tells me that you're serious about creating real change in your life. And because I know how valuable this journey can be, I'd love to continue supporting you along the way. If this conversation has resonated with you, I invite you to subscribe to the channel because there's so much more we can explore together. Every video I create is designed to give you practical tools and insights that actually work in real life, not just feel-good concepts that fade when challenges arise. Leave a comment saying, My garden is ready to bloom if you made it all the way to the end. I read every single comment, and it means the world to me to know that these ideas are landing with people who are genuinely committed to their growth. And if you felt that connection we've been building throughout this entire conversation, a like on the video helps more people discover these transformative insights when they need them most. There's a video right here that dives even deeper into the practical steps for implementing these brain rewiring techniques in your daily routine. Click and continue with me over there, because your transformation journey is just beginning, and I can't wait to see where it takes you.